As the vaccine continues to roll out, dental practices can finally look ahead to a post-pandemic recovery. But what steps can they take to make up for a year's worth of shortfalls? We're speaking with Chris Panebianco, Chief Marketing Officer of Bankers Healthcare Group, about strategies that dental practices can employ to position themselves to rebound in 2021. Chris, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you having me back.
Great, and we're happy to speak with you again, especially when it comes to financial matters like this. Overall, what is the general financial outlook for dental practices in 2021? Should they be optimistic?
I definitely think so. We've seen in the market that dental practices are busier than ever. They're getting, with the vaccine coming out, the increase, and the cities are opening back up. They're expanding who they're offering the vaccine to. A lot of our customers, both our borrowers, are optimistic, and a lot of the external research we've looked at. So we're optimistic as well. Our borrowers, as we talked before, we had a certain percentage of our borrowers, mainly dentists, that went on a deferment on their loan. And today they're all making their payments, and we're down to zero. So it's very good to see. We're excited about it. And, a lot of the conversations that we've talked to our customers, about 86% of the dental leaders, they're either confident or very confident in their practice's future. So we're very optimistic, and I think the industry should be too.
Okay, and of course, despite all of that confidence, there still are some obstacles out there. What do you see as some of the big obstacles for some practices in getting back to where they were before, or even doing better?
Sure. I think, again, overcoming the perception that the public has, is it safe to go to the dentist? Do I want to go is it a hassle? Do they have the appropriate safety equipment? But most importantly, for the practices themselves, what we're hearing is that it's recruiting, technology, and really even marketing, getting the word back out, that a lot of their base may have gone elsewhere if they weren't opening fast enough. So some external data and research that we've looked at, about 38% of dentists said that marketing, and about 25% said technology adoption are the biggest hurdles they have right now. Another about half of the audience said that they noted they'll be partaking in larger recruiting efforts as people are going, schools have been affected. So anybody that was retiring, or if they were losing one of the practitioners, they have to replace them. So some practices also simply just want to spread the word that they're open. They want to get the staff in there, and they want to provide a good service and go back to how their business was being run before the pandemic started.
Do you have any advice for practices on optimizing those marketing strategies?
Yeah, I mean, especially on the marketing side, I think simple communication. My dentist is amazing at that. I get a weekly email during the pandemic at the steps that they were taking to go ahead and reopen. They've done a great job of investing in their platform. A lot of places you have to go now and text when you're there and wait. My dentist has an all-inclusive website and portal that once you schedule your appointment, you get reminders. You can sign up for the kind of reminder that fits you. So from the marketing side, I think you just have to get out there and let people know you're there and it's safe, and that it's the same great service they had before the pandemic started.
Okay, and you also referred to technology being a key hurdle in practices getting back to normal. Can you describe some of these technologies, whether it's practice management software or maybe some clinical devices that might be of use?
Yeah, one of the big areas that I've seen, especially in its most businesses, is air purification, the safety side of that. It's also been a good time when you've had that much downtime to look at the equipment you have in your practice and evaluate, is it the right equipment to have? Is it old? Is it outdated? So that when you start to bring people back in, you're giving them the best service available. The practice management software, there's a lot out there, and reevaluating what that does for your practice, how it manages your patient caseload, the efficiency that it creates for your patient, and that almost CRM software that you hope will roll out across and provide a good experience for your patients.
Okay, and whether it's the technology or the recruiting, these kinds of efforts require some kind of financial boost. What kind of strategies can practices put in place to get the capital they need to finance those efforts?
Yeah, number one, I think, as we talked about before, you have to really evaluate where your practice stands.
Mm-hmm.
What does your cash flow look like? Are you getting enough people back in the door and filling your seats that, you're at pre-pandemic levels for cash flow?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have outstanding debt? Do you have multiple debts that you may want to consider rolling into one simple business debt consolidation loan?
Mm-hmm.
Also, business loans can be used to get things back to normal. It's also to ensure that your staff and offices are equipped as more patients get vaccinated. The PP or the equipment, the safety equipment, the gowns, the protective gear, that's not cheap. And sometimes it's back ordered. So having the financing and the options available to do this and update your technology, take care of your staff, market your services, and let the world know that you're back to business, that costs money. So I would say, Rich, number one is opening up your books to understand where you're at financially. What can you afford to do? What makes sense based on your flow? I think is number one. And you have to really sit down and look at that. If you're not working with a financial planner or your office manager, I strongly suggest that. But also getting that capital and making sure that you have access to take care of those things with an affordable monthly payment and really not stretch where you're at. That's the last thing you want to do.
Okay. Do you recommend partnering with a financial advisor or a bank or something along those lines to
Yeah, I
get
think
that
you can
kind of
do.
advice?
Yeah, I think you can do a few things. I think number one, it's always great. I am by no means a financial advisor
Mm-hmm.
or a practice management expert. However, I do understand working capital. And, a lot of our clients tell us that they have great office management staffs, or they're part of a DSO, or they do have someone that works with them that is giving them advice for managing their books. Number one, that's important. And then
Mm-hmm.
number two is finding a lender that you can work with that understands your business. And then you have to really look at what types of loans are out there. There's plenty, but choosing what's right for you and making sure that it's affordable and it makes sense for where you're going in the future.
Okay. And are these strategies applicable whether you're a small single practitioner or a part of a larger group or even part of a DSO?
Yeah, I think they are. Again, you have to run your practice the way you know how. With the DSOs, you obviously have a lot of support,
Mm-hmm.
and it may look different. But if you're the majority of practices, I know that the DSO market has grown, but the majority of practices are that small single practitioner to 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is. It's relative across all, but it's just a different specification or different strategy that you'll have to have, but it's all the same.
Okay, and speaking of those smaller practices, you referred earlier to some of those staffing issues that a lot of practices might be facing right now. Maybe people are retiring, people are being furloughed, people are going on leave because of the pandemic. What strategies do you have for those practices who are now weathering some of those personnel issues?
That's a really tough one. And I think you have to look at your business and say, what can I do? If it is the furlough issue or if it's retirement, are there people that perhaps you could adjust their work schedules and get them to stay on as you go and recruit? There's a big push for recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
But I think really it's communication and it's understanding where your business is and how you can work with the staff you have and then talk to a professional. There are staffing agencies all over. Maybe you want to set up programs with the local schools where dentists or dental hygienists are coming out of. There's a lot of options, but definitely talking with a staffing agency and evaluating where you're at for how your business is being run is my number one suggestion.
Okay, and also tied into staffing, the government very early in the pandemic set up programs like the Paycheck Protection Program and other financing issues. Are those programs still available, and can dentists and dental practices still take advantage of them?
Definitely. There's another round of PPP out there. We're one of four. We have a wholly owned subsidiary called Fundex Solutions Group, and they are one of 14 non-bank licensed SBA 7A lenders, and we can also do PPP. We did $150 million worth of PPP loans around in the first go round, and we're working with our practitioners now and our clientele to get them that next round if they need it. I strongly suggest reaching out to one of your SBA lenders and getting more information if you haven't done so already.
And many of these loans, such as the PPP, they're forgivable as long as you meet certain requirements.
Definitely. again, I would strongly urge you to reach out. The requirements have changed, and I think as the government rolled these strategies and programs out, there was a lot of gray area. So I definitely recommend speaking with a professional that is in the day to day, so you don't make the wrong mistake. That would be the worst thing you could do, is assume something and do the wrong thing and then be on the hook for it down the road.
Okay, and outside of these strategies that we've been discussing, do you have any other advice for how practices can best prepare to take advantage of the recovery?
Yeah, I think you have to be proactive. Again, understanding your business and what you can handle, as you mentioned before, whether it's staffing or people being hesitant to come back or you having the right equipment, having that plan is going to be number one. Number two is communication, whether it's with your staff, it's with your CPA, it's with your financial planner or your office management group. You have to communicate with them and make sure everybody's on the same page. Get that plan together and then go out and start to spend some money on marketing, or you don't even have to spend money. If you have a CRM, you can easily just email your current client base and let them know that you're there, it's safe, and you're open for business. So I think those two things are going to be important for the day to day. And then there's a lot of our customers we've talked to that they're expanding. They're actually taking advantage of this to do what we've called in the industry as a side hustle. So they're going and getting certified. They're on the speaking circuit. They may be working with one of the manufacturers to test products. There's a lot of different things that you can go out and take advantage of now, that in the event that this ever happens again, where we saw, I believe the number was 97% of practices were impacted or shut down for a time. Yeah. You have something to fall back on, so that income level and income stream continues to come in. So I think the preparedness for what's next, we all got caught off guard with the pandemic. I think that's very important to be part of your strategy. And then, as we've talked about, have a financial partner that if you do want to take advantage of those opportunities, that can get you financing quick and it's to your advantage.
Okay, and one more thing then. Where do you suggest dentists go to find out more information about any of these programs or strategies to get that extra help they need?
Sure. I'd be lying if I didn't say, come talk to me. Bankers Healthcare Group offers a lot of solutions, whether it's SBA, it's personal loans, it's it's business loans. We have a great suite of credit cards. We have a lot to offer. If it's not us, which my email is chrisp@bhg-inc.com, I encourage you to talk with a financial professional or your local bank, because it's really important that you talk to them and understand each. Make sure that they're going to be consultative in nature, and then set yourself up so that in the event that you have an opportunity, or it's debt consolidation, whatever it might be, you want a partner that understands your business. And that's very, very important, because you've earned your place as a healthcare professional, and your needs are different from everybody else. So I strongly suggest you get professional guidance.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for sharing that insight and that optimism with us today. And we look forward to the recovery if and when it finally gets here.
I appreciate it. Thank you once again for having me, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks again. Have a great day.